Late night linguini. Thank you, Patrick. I won't forget that one soon. I am here with Dr. Paul Hokemeyer, and I'm very, very excited to sit down with him and get to know him, and that way you get to know him, and we're going to chat and just figure out what's going on in his brain and what he does for a living and what makes him so special. Paul, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm excited to be a part of the new show. And
of course.
The new Telluride TV and part of the Telluride community. So
great.
Thanks.
So can you tell us a little bit about what you specialize in, your day-to-day, things you do, things that you write about, things that you love?
So the first thing that I love is Telluride.
Yeah,
Telluride's an amazing community, and it's exciting for me now to be a part of this community. I've been coming here for the past 16 years, part-time, based out of New York City. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist in New York City.
Okay.
And I actually work all over the world. I was just about 20 minutes ago trying to find an Arabic translator who would speak in a Lebanese dialect, and I did that. I accomplished that, which is sort of the power of the internet.
Technology.
And so I started coming here about 16 years ago with my husband, Jim Johnson, and fell in love with the community. And then around 3 years ago, we decided to sell the apartment in New York City.
You love this city.
Which I love New York City. New York City is an amazing city. And we became Telluride locals. So I have a Colorado driver's license.
You did the whole thing.
I did the whole thing. I'm in the process of trying to get to getting a license to practice in Colorado. And my work basically, I work around relational health. So what's our relationship with ourselves like? What's our relationship with our loved ones, with our community, with our environment? So my work is very relational, and I work primarily, I started my training in the realm of addictions.
Oh,
and there's no shortage of things that we
certainly
can get
not. I'm sure you're busy
to.
all the time.
So, and then how those addictions manifest themselves relationally. So that's the nature of my work.
That's pretty neat. So what are you looking to bring to the Telluride community as far as your practice and the things that you do on your day-to-day operations?
I just sort of a focus on relational health. You know, we're living in times that are quite challenging. I think we're living in a period where we have a crisis of trust. We don't really know who to trust, right?
Crisis of trust.
Crisis of trust.
Is that copyrighted?
Oh,
is that yours?
Maybe
I like that.
Maybe because we broadcasted it. It is. So can we put a little C after this?
I'm going to start doing that. It's a crisis of trust. I like that more.
Well, you know, we don't know who to, we're told we can't trust anybody, right? We're told we can't trust our elected officials. We can't trust the media. We can't trust the healthcare system to take care of us. We can't trust the educational system to educate us. So where does that leave us? It leaves us in this profound sense of anxiety. And getting back to things that we can trust. And we can trust ourselves, you know, because basically human beings are very intuitive. We know we're actually called to heal. So we're self-healing organisms, and things get in the way. So we need to go back to that foundation of learning how to trust ourselves and learning how to trust that voice that tells us, no, that's not a very good idea to do that. And as we reach for that third drink or that cigarette or that third piece of chocolate cake, you know, we know intuitively we shouldn't be doing this, and yet we're just called to do it. Or being in toxic relationships.
Which is a form of addiction in itself, too.
Totally. And in fact, I think it's one of the most challenging addictions. Of course. Because that's so primal, isn't it? Where we are, as human beings, we're like called to connect with each other, right? We want to attach to another human being. And toxic relationships, unhealthy relationships are just really they're harder than heroin addictions to break because they're so primal.
Oh, yes. So in a bit, we are going to watch a clip of you on the streets of Telluride, interviewing a few people. And can you tell me a little bit about what this clip, the show, the bigger show that it's a part of?
So we're doing this show now on Telluride TV. Carley is my sidekick.
Oh.
And we're going to the streets of Telluride to explore what it means to be a human being.
Yeah.
So we're looking at issues. The first one we're doing is on narcissism. We kind of surveyed
plenty of fodder in Telluride, I'm sure.
We kind of surveyed the community. We're like, what do you want to know about? People are like, I want to know about narcissism, which is very topical. It's very topical. So we've taken to the streets and we've asked people just passing by, what is narcissism? What do you think about narcissism? How does it impact you? And then Carley and I sit down and have a dialogue about what's the clinical diagnosis of narcissism. And Carley asked me some very insightful questions about why are we attracted to narcissists? How do we get out of relationships with narcissism? And so, with narcissists. And so that's the nature of the show. That's what we're going to be doing, taking to the streets of Telluride to explore psychological issues.
So it'll be a different theme every week.
Different theme, and we want to hear from the audience. We want to hear from the viewers what they're interested in, because this is a community program, and we're very much part of the community. And so we'd love to hear from you guys. To you guys, where the camera is, what you want to hear about. So stay tuned.
That's great, and that'll be on Telluride TV channel.
It'll be on Telluride TV,
Great.
And it'll be live streaming on the website as well.
That's very exciting. Okay, now we're going to head to that clip of Dr. Paul Hokemeyer on the streets talking to some locals about narcissism.
Episode of what? What are we?
PsyOps.
PsyOps?
It's called PsyOps.
Okay.
So it's a show kind of about psychological issues.
Oh, I get it. PsyOps.
And we are talking about narcissism. Have you ever heard of that word?
I have heard of the word. I'm not sure I could define it.
When you think of a narcissist, you think someone's obsessed with themselves?
Someone who thinks they're the best and is overly self-confident. That's kind of what I would attribute it to. Someone who kind of their ego gets ahead of them.
Narcissism is a overly self-confidence or self-love of oneself. I said self a lot.
That's where the very heart of it. And how does it impact relationships?
It impacts relationships fairly negatively from what I understand about narcissism.
And have you ever been around a narcissist?
I have.
And how does that person make you feel?
Sometimes a bit crazy.
Having a conversation with a narcissist is usually centered more on them, and you're just like, all right, just listening.
Common in today's society.
I come from the millennial times that everybody's thinking that we are very narcissistic with the cell phones, the selfies, a lot of self-absorbed, and I think also too, our society, our social skills are decreasing in a way, so we also don't have much to talk about these days other than ourselves.
Man, I would like to hope that increased connection and, you know, through social media or being able to stay in touch with folks, I would like to hope that would increase empathy, but I think that a lot of times it turns the lens inward. And I don't know if that counts as narcissism, but I definitely think people end up more focused on their own world, more self-involved or self-conscious.
If you were to render a guess, how would you say a person gets out of having a narcissistic personality?
Finding something better than themselves, maybe potentially beauty in mountains.
And what is bigger for you personally? What do you find bigger than yourself?
Most definitely the same thing, those beauty in the mountains, living here in Telluride, community that we have here in Telluride. It's much bigger than I am, so.
It doesn't take a lot of external things to just recognize the beauty that's all around you, and that's certainly what we have here, and it's why we keep coming back.
I had to remind myself from walking down the street today because it's really crowded at this time of year. It's not all about me, of what I'm trying to go do, you know, having that idea of we're all connected in some way and just helping each other out.
What's your wish for the world in 2017?
More connectivity, more love, more peace, you know, all the catchwords, but, you know, they can't be said enough.
What's the one thing that would unite the world?
The answer is solving world peace. That's a tough question. How do we solve world peace? I don't know. And maybe tying it back, maybe less narcissism. Maybe that's the answer.